Have you ever seen someone's true colors come out in the worst way possible? Well, get ready, because today's story will shock you. It's about a white cop who made a terrible mistake, insulting a black man he thought was just another civilian. But what happens when he discovers that man is actually his new boss, the chief of police? This story is about prejudice, redemption, and the power of leadership. Before we begin, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more eye-opening stories that teach powerful lessons. Now, let's jump into it. In the bustling city of Brookside, a man named Marcus Gray had just been promoted to chief of police. Marcus was a humble, intelligent, and well-respected individual who worked tirelessly to bring justice and fairness to the community. Growing up in a poor neighborhood, he had witnessed firsthand the consequences of systemic inequality and racial prejudice. His rise to the top was not just a personal victory, but a symbol of hope for many who believed in change. Marcus was not just a law enforcer. He was a father, a mentor, and a man of integrity. He believed in kindness, understanding, and the power of education to bridge divides. He often spoke about how his mother, a school teacher, had instilled in him the values of respect and dignity for all people, regardless of their background. It was a bright Monday morning when Marcus decided to drive to work in his old beat-up sedan. Despite his position, Marcus preferred staying grounded and often avoided the flashy perks of his job. Wearing a plain t-shirt and jeans, he looked like any other citizen of Brookside. He wanted to grab a coffee from his favorite corner cafe before heading to the precinct. As Marcus pulled into a parking spot, he noticed a police car parked nearby. Out stepped Officer Richard Turner, a man known for his sharp tongue and questionable judgment. Richard had been with the department for over 15 years, but had gained a reputation for being brash and dismissive, particularly toward minorities. Richard didn't recognize Marcus in his casual attire and old car. As Marcus exited his vehicle, Richard approached him with an air of authority. "Hey, you can't park here," Richard barked. Marcus smiled politely. "Officer, I believe this is a public parking spot." Richard's tone grew harsher. "Don't get smart with me. You people always think you can do whatever you want. Move your car now." Marcus paused. "You people?" he asked calmly. Richard smirked. "Yeah, you heard me. Don't play dumb." The situation escalated as Richard's words became more offensive. You should be grateful we let your kind roam around freely, acting like you own the place, monkeying around like you're somebody." Marcus felt a wave of anger rise in him, but remained composed. "Officer Turner, do you always speak to civilians like this?" Richard laughed mockingly. "Civilians? You're nobody, buddy. Move along before I write you up for something." Marcus sighed, realizing this was not the time to reveal his identity. He simply said, "Have a good day, officer," and walked into the cafe. Later that morning, Marcus arrived at the precinct for his first day as chief of police. The officers had gathered for a meeting to welcome him. As he walked into the room, heads turned and whispers filled the air. Some officers who knew him smiled warmly, while others, like Richard, looked confused. Richard leaned over to a colleague and muttered, "What's this guy doing here?" The captain stood up and announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce our new chief of police, Marcus Gray." Richard's face turned pale. The man he had insulted just hours earlier was now his boss. Marcus took the podium, his presence commanding yet approachable. He began his speech by thanking everyone for their service and emphasizing the importance of mutual respect and professionalism within the force. During the speech, Marcus made eye contact with Richard, who avoided his gaze. Marcus concluded with, "I look forward to working with each of you to make Brookside a safer, fairer place for everyone." As the days went by, Marcus observed Richard closely. He noticed how the officer treated minorities and handled complaints. Marcus decided it was time to address the issue. He called Richard into his office. "Officer Turner, do you remember me?" Marcus asked. Richard hesitated. No, sir. I don't think we've met." Marcus leaned forward. "We met yesterday morning, in the parking lot near the cafe." Richard's eyes widened and he stammered, Sir, I didn't realize. Marcus raised a hand. Stop. I'm not here to hear excuses. I want to understand why you felt it was appropriate to speak to a civilian that way. Richard was silent for a moment before admitting, I've been under a lot of stress, sir. It won't happen again. Marcus nodded. Stress is not an excuse for disrespect or prejudice. I believe in second chances, but this department will not tolerate any form of discrimination. Do you understand? Yes, Chief, Richard replied quietly. Marcus decided to give Richard an opportunity to redeem himself. He paired him with Officer Tanya Lewis, a compassionate and experienced officer known for her ability to de-escalate situations and build trust in the community. Marcus hoped Tanya's influence would help Richard see the value of empathy and fairness. Over time, Richard began to change. Working alongside Tanya, he witnessed the impact of kindness and respect on the community. He saw how people opened up and cooperated when they felt valued. Slowly, Richard started shedding his biases and reevaluating his behavior. One evening, Richard approached Marcus. Chief, I want to thank you. I've learned a lot these past few weeks. I'm sorry for how I acted before. It was wrong. Marcus looked at him and said, Growth is a process, Richard. What matters is that you're making an effort. Keep it up. Months later, Brookside saw significant improvements in community police relations. Marcus's leadership and Richard's transformation became a testament to the power of accountability and second chances. Marcus often reflected on that morning at the cafe. It had been a moment of pain, but it also became a turning point for change. And as he walked through the city he loved, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that progress, however small, was always worth fighting for. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.